Support for this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code BET. That's B-E-T, BET at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 16 million balls. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. So, get 20% off and free shipping with code BET at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with code BET at manscaped.com. Order today for free worldwide shipping and to help support me. And I thank you, Manscaped, for supporting our dream.
Hello everyone and welcome back to American Homicide. I'm Jake, and today we are going to discuss an unsolved case from my own hometown. But first, let's take a look at our solved case for the week. The solved case for the week is going to be the possible identification of the Somerton man. On 26 July of 2022, Abbott announced that he and genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick has determined that the man was Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker born on November 16, 1905, in Cootscray, a suburb of Melbourne. For those of you who don't know what the Somerton man is, the Somerton man was an unidentified man who died many years ago. I want to say that this was 1939, and he was just kind of found on a beach in southern Australia. And it was a weird case where there was a book that had a torn out page that was thrown into someone's car, and that torn out page said "It is done," and that was in the man's pocket. And it was a very weird case. And so the solving of this case is quite substantial. It's kind of like if someone solved the Black Delilah case. It's substantially huge in the community, especially of Southern Australia. So Abbott claimed that his DNA identifications from strands of hair found on the plaster death mask made by the South Australian police in the late 1940s through investigative genetic genealogy matches were found for 4 descendants and two cousins of Webb, both on the paternal and the maternal side. So basically, like 23andMe, that type of deal. The Forensic Science South Australia, who are still investigating, declined to comment on Abbott's findings, but the South Australia police has not verified the results, but said that they were cautiously optimistic that this may provide a breakthrough. So a little bit on Charles Webb. Charles Webb was the son of Richard August Webb, who died in 1939. He had immigrated to Australia from Hamburg, Germany. So if you don't know what was going on in Germany in 1939, it was not a great time to be there. He married Eliza Amelia Mace Morris Grace. I'm so sorry, my reading is horrible today. Died in 1946, and in 1892 and opened a bakery in Springville, Virginia. So basically he was just an average individual who was retained as an electrical instrument maker at one point. Like I said earlier, he was an engineer. In 1941 he married Dorothy Robertson, a pharmacist, and the couple moved into the flat in Bromby Street in South Yarra. So the marriage was not harmonious, largely due to Carl's personality. People would describe him as being solitary, having few friends, living a quiet life, and being in bed by 7 p.m. each night. This guy sounds kind of chill, honestly. He seems like a normal guy. I don't really see the big... whatever. He was fond of poetry and wrote several poems of his own, most of them upon the subject of death, which claims to be his greatest desire, which is a weird thing to say. If your greatest desire is dying, and then you die in this, that's kind of like when Bobby Lee says that the way that he wants to die. I don't know if you know who Bobby Lee is. He's a comedian. He says he wants to die with, like, people just find his arm in New York and like a leg in Melbourne, and like his torso's in San Fran. Just people have no idea what happened to him. That's his. That's I guess this guy had the same kind of humor. Why not? Basically, it looks like the autopsy found that he poisoned himself, and that would be the end of his story, unfortunately. So it is good that there is a possible identification of Mr. Carl Webb. Maybe it would be great for his family to have some closure if there is any family that was looking for him. The next case that I'd like to just quickly take up today is going to be the Las Vegas unsolved case. He was, it looks like, oh man, this is just terrible. And I'm sorry, this is not from my hometown. This is just from my own town. Sorry, not my hometown, my own town. I might have said that differently earlier, and I'm rereading it because I live in Las Vegas. That's not my hometown. So there were two people believed to be involved in the murder of a Las Vegas grandfather killed on Mother's Day of last year. Officers found 59-year-old James Wagner, a Marine Corps veteran, deceased in his apartment near Maryland Parkway and Charleston Boulevard on May 8th, which is kind of just in northern Vegas, not the greatest part of town to be. It's not really in northern Vegas, but it's not. It's on like the north, like northwest side of the city, northwest of the airport in the town. Anderson and Wagner. I'm sorry, let me back up here. Wagner's friend Crystal said, "It destroyed my life. It took everything from me. It took my hopes, my dreams, my everything. He was everything to us." His friend Wagner and Anderson both share 2 children and several grandchildren, so it must have been a situation where the relationship just didn't work out. But it seems like they were pretty amicable. Says no one. She said, "Nobody helps me, and nobody cares that this man is dead." Anderson said, "This is a real life angel. I've never met anybody like him before." Anderson said that she met Wagner 20 years ago. He owned a business not far from his apartment, and she remembers him saying an anonymous statement before his death. He said, "They're going to kill me." And I said, "Who?" He said, and he never said nothing. Anderson said, "He hid everything from me. If anything was bad, he would get into it with somebody because he did not want me to know. Because he knew the first thing I would do is call the police." My apologies, the English isn't the most... the easiest to read. Las Vegas Metro Police needs your help in finding Wagner's killer. What makes this case so difficult to solve? Asked 8 News Now investigator David Chan. LVMPD homicide detective Lawrence Gilbert says this: "We do not have any witnesses that are willing to tell us what happened on the case. Witnesses saw 2 people running from the area of Wagner's apartment after hearing a gunshot in the trail ends there," Gilbert said. "They are described as black men and a light-skinned woman with hair. A black man with a light-skinned woman with red hair. Short of that, we have nothing," he said. "Whoever shot and killed Wagner was able to get inside of his apartment building and get to Wagner's apartment door, but they did not go inside after the murder. He had things in his house of value," he said. "Entry was never made into his house. If you're going to rob somebody and shoot them, per se, you would take something, but nothing was actually taken from the resident, so I find that kind of particular," Gilbert said. Charnes asked, "So, you think people have talked about this and they're just not willing to come forward?" "Yes, I do," says Detective Gilbert. Without much to go on, detectives hope that the simple fact that this unsolved homicide happened on Mother's Day will evoke some hidden memory. It is likely that the people who killed James Wagner are still in that area. The fact that he was taken on Mother's Day itself, that should trigger something," Gilbert said. Anderson is left on her own caring for children and grandchildren that she and Wagner, plus other family members, are pitching in, she said. She's working a minimum wage job and is trying to get by while hoping to find the person who killed her best friend and caretaker. "I have nobody to help me with the kids, nobody to help me get them to school, nobody to buy us food, nobody to help us with anything," she said. "I have been struggling and suffering. I have never suffered like this in my whole life. I've lost everything. I lost everything when they took James from us." Tips can be submitted anonymously through Crime Stoppers by calling 702-385-5555 or at crimestoppersofnv.com/report-a-crime. Information can be sent via text message by sending crime NV and then your message to 274-637, which spells out crimes. Crime Stoppers offers a reward for the information that leads to an arrest. Anderson also started a GoFundMe page to help with expenses, which will be linked in the description below. If you're able to help this family get by, that would be fantastic. as they've been going through quite a bit. Obviously, they've only raised roughly $20 of their $30,000 goal, and the last donation was 26 days ago. So if there's anything that any of us in this community are able to do to try to help the family of our slain Marine local here in Vegas, Mr. James Wagner, please go ahead and come to this GoFundMe and give $1 or $2 if you can. Well, that's our show today. Thank you for joining us today, and if you are a fan of what you heard here, please subscribe, download, and or rate the show. We appreciate the feedback, and I will see you next week. As a reminder, you're able to take 20% off any Manscaped product and get fast and free worldwide shipping with code BET at checkout. That is code BET at checkout at manscaped.com. Again, I want to thank our friends at Manscaped for supporting the show, and I want to thank our friends who are listening right now who do what they can to try to help the true crime community by solving cases and supporting the families who need it most. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see y'all next week.